Good evening and welcome to episode 69. As always, we'll start with our gratitude attitude. So, if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, let all your tension melt away. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely let yourself go. Now, think of one thing that you're thankful for that happened in the past week. Once you have identified it, think about why you are thankful. And now let's set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud what you are thankful for and why. If you're with someone, tell it to each other. Okay, so have you ever had to show courage in the thick of adversity? I'm sure you have. Although you may not feel like it, or you may not feel that you are a particularly courageous person, all of us at one time or another have shown exemplary courage in our lives. So let's look at what it takes to be courageous and how that helps us move forward in life. When I looked up the definition of courage, it showed up as the ability to do something that frightens one, meaning to face one's fear is to be courageous. And courage can come in many forms, as you all know. It could be the courage to stand up for your principles, or courage to take a risk, or courage to get married, and so on. We all have different fears and biases based on the circumstances in which we grew up. So, why is it important to be courageous, you may ask? Well, for starters, living a courageous life tends to lead one to happiness. How does that work? When you are displaying courage, you are usually trying out something you always wanted to, but you are afraid to do so. So in that case, trying out something that you always wanted to do brings instant happiness, no matter the outcome. And even if the outcome does not materialize the way you expect it to be, you will learn from that experience. And that will allow you to try something different, leading to happiness again. So you see, it's kind of a self-fulfilling cycle, if you will. So now that we know it pays to be courageous, let's figure out how to be more courageous. The first thing to do when you are facing a fear of particular action is to look at the worst and the best case scenarios. Try to imagine the worst case. If you do take a particular action, and the best case, if you do take the same action, right? When you visualize these, it does two things. First, it makes you aware of the upside of the decision if you do jump in. This way, you are able to weigh the pros and cons in both scenarios. Another thing it does is it quantifies the risk you are taking. When you quantify the risk, you become immune from your fears. Other thing to realize is that we are wired for negative bias, right? All of us, from our hunter-gatherer days. Our brain is wired for negative bias because that was survival. But we are no longer in that situation. So it helps to look at both the negative outcome as well as the positive outcome. This way, we are able to put the downside into perspective. Yet another thing to do is practice relaxation techniques, such as deep breaths and meditation. This prepares our body for the physical stress that comes with fear. It also keeps our mind clear, right? One other thing that helps become courageous is to be courageous. What do I mean by that? Well, practice courageous actions in small doses. If you are afraid of the dark, for example, go to the basement in the dark once a day. That will build your confidence and allow you to become courageous when the stakes are much higher. Another way to face our fear is to make plans. If you have step-by-step plan of action, being courageous becomes a lot easier. I do want to point out that being courageous for the sake of being courageous is not a good thing also. The way to avoid this bravado mentality, if you will, is to make sure that you know where your strength lies. If you know your strengths and weaknesses, then you will avoid being courageous for the sake of it. So next time you are facing the fear of moving forward on a subject you are uncomfortable with, try finding your inner strength and go for it. You'll grow from the experience, even if it does not work out the way you want it to be. And remember what President Franklin D. Roosevelt said. The only thing you have to fear is the fear itself. So in our meditation practice today, we'll use a technique called black and white meditation. As always, at first we'll settle down in our hearts. Then we'll imagine that all of our stress is gathered at our heart in the form of thick smoke. When we breathe in, we'll imagine bright light getting into our nostrils. When we breathe out, we'll breathe out all the thick smoke of stress that we imagined at our hearts. So that's the plan. If you're ready, let's get going. So get into your meditation posture, cross-seated position. If you are in a chair, just keep your legs straight. Make sure your back is straight, spine upright, shoulders leveled, eyes gently closed. Keep your mouth just a little bit open. That way, any stress you may have in your jaws will dissipate. Put your palms in your lap, right over left, thumbs gently touching each other. Now, take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you breathe out, let all your tension, all your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely relax yourself. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention at your nostrils for the sensation of your breath for about a minute or so on your own. Now, bring your attention at your heart. Imagine everything that happened before this moment melts into light and disappears. Things that have not yet happened are not real anyway. So it is just this moment. Enjoy the peacefulness of this moment. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, imagine all the stress you have, mental, physical, emotional, all that stress gathers in the form of thick black smoke at your heart. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in bright light. As you breathe out, you are breathing out thick black smoke, all the stress at your heart. Breathe in light, breathe out stress. Continue to breathe in light, and breathe out all your stress in the form of thick black smoke. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in bright white light. As you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out all your stress. Continue to breathe in light and breathe out smoke. Focus on the inner peace. Once all your stress disappears. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? No questions. Okay.